Hello and welcome back. In this session, we're going to talk about public groups and teams and how we can use these Salesforce features to open up record access. Public groups are just groups of users, roles, territories, and other groups, and access to groups can be public, private, or you can have unlisted groups as well. Teams can be account teams, they can be opportunity teams, or they can be case teams. And record owners can build a team for their record by adding individual team members and setting the access level for each team member. Or they can add default teams. But let's head into Salesforce and we'll start with groups. So here we are in Salesforce and we can configure groups from the front end as groups is just an object. So if we open up groups here and we click new group, we can start configuring it. So for the name, I'm just going to call this as GFC group. We can then add a description and we can also add information about it. We then set the owner, we can disable automatic archiving, and then we have the different access types. So we have public, which means that anyone can join this group and anyone can see it. And we have private groups, which is when the group is only accessible to group members which are added by the group owner. And then we have unlisted, which doesn't show here because we haven't enabled it, but I thought it was worth mentioning to you. Essentially, an unlisted group is a secret group, and you can only be invited into that group, so you can't see it in any searches and you can't apply to join that group either. We're going to leave ours as public. We can allow customers, which would allow customers to join this group, so external users, and we can set it as broadcast only. Now when we set it as broadcast only, it means that only group owners and managers can post to the group. However, group members can read posts and they can comment on them as well. But we're just going to leave this as it is and we'll just hit save and next. We could then upload an image if we wanted to. We can hit next again, and then we can add different people in. Now, because we don't have any real users here, it's not showing anyone, but we could just search for people here, and we'll just hit done. And we now have our group. Now, we have already spoken about teams in previous sessions, so I'm not going to delve too deep into this, but we're just going to have a recap. We have account teams, opportunity teams, and we have case teams. So if we go to an account, and we have a look at the related list, we could scroll down and we can see the account team. We can add a default team, so we could set a default team that we can just add with a click of a button, or we could set individual team members. And we just need to set the user, we need to set the team role, and then we can specify the different levels of access. Now, because we're adding an account team, we could control access to case and opportunities. However, if we went to an opportunity and we went to add an opportunity team member, so we go here and we add an opportunity team member, we can only specify the level of access and access in itself to the opportunity. So that's groups and teams covered. So let's have a quick recap before we move on. Groups can be used to facilitate the sharing of records, and they can be made up of users, roles, territories, and other groups as well. Access to groups can be public, it can be private, or you can have unlisted groups when enabled. When it comes to teams, we can assign teams to records to grant access. They can be account teams, opportunity teams, or case teams. And we can specify the level of access that we want to grant to those individual team members or the default teams.